Today's horoscope from Astrocademy, Pisces August 31, 2022. The moon spends the day in your solar 10th house, and you're prioritizing your responsibilities and goals. You can be eager to take on an ambitious project or take care of business, but watch for overreaching. Also today, Mercury begins its transit of your partnership sector. You'll be in great shape for healthier communication and negotiations. You're more likely to consult with others, discuss ideas and plans, and seek feedback in the weeks ahead. You gravitate to people who stimulate your thinking or offer you a different perspective. It can be a wonderful time for a collaboration of sorts. Your savvy planetary ruler, Mercury, makes its annual debut in Pisces today, bringing clarity and momentum to your committed 7th house of agreements, compromise, and significant others. Despite your brilliant communication skills, your celestial ruler, Mercury, is at its detriment when transiting through the sign of Pisces. Meaning, instead of communicating directly and practically, you're more prone to sending your love mixed signals at this time. Meanwhile, upon the moon's shift into Virgo, your 10th house of authority, you're being encouraged to take the initiative, so don't be afraid to test the waters at this time. How can you navigate your working relationships and obligations differently? Throughout the last few weeks, Mercury in Virgo brought up unique conversations in the workplace. But some of these conversations may need a more compassionate touch, which Mercury in Pisces can do. Now in your opposite sign, Mercury will give you a more idealistic perception of your professional commitments. You are encouraged to lean into your opposite sign's mind, to speak and navigate negotiations like a Pisces. So, have hope that everything will work out, but remain somewhat grounded in reality. Where the moon's return to your financial sector late last week was a chance to fuel your financial instincts and imagination and has left behind a sense of anticipation, it is helping to energize the other side of the financial fence today. While the moon won't return to your income sector until next week, positive energy on the job and career fronts today is linked to income potential ahead. Be careful not to let your dissatisfaction with yourself hurt others or create enemies. Your friends and family have to be very patient with you. If you go too far, your relationships will suffer a great deal. Try to see it from their point of view instead of just your own. Something big and powerful and intense washes over you when you're chatting with someone you know pretty well. Both of you can feel it, but you won't be sure what to do about it for a while. You appreciate being liked and even more being admired. However, you don't have much say in how you're perceived. You can only behave in a natural way, which is often simply a question of your smile and laugh, the extent of your interest shown towards others, your individual taste, and how your day goes. The world depends on you to give a daily dose of understanding and acceptance. All too often you feel underappreciated and not recognized for the love you give. Maybe it's time to set some limits and turn that accepting love back towards yourself instead of giving it to the ungrateful. The problem is you don't find that to be easy. Hint: start with your diet. Are you giving yourself the best and freshest food possible? Are you getting enough vitamins and minerals? Are you drinking plenty of water? Turning the focus onto your own needs will help you sustain your giving nature. Take care that your generosity and loyalty toward a family member doesn't cost you too much in the long run. You may feel as though you don't have a choice when it comes to fulfilling requests from someone in your family, but this isn't really the case. You always have the choice. If there is something you just aren't comfortable with, the essence of this day can give you the extra courage you need to take a stand. A day after the moon left a playful and the sun an adventurous part of your chart, they are both more focused on your professional game today. Just having the moon in your work sector during the sun's first and Mercury's last full day in your career sector is an advantage, but it has created a sudden shift. This might mean you are more likely to have your work and professional hats on over the weekend, but away from the noise of the working week. This can make it easier to pick up on the wealth of information and insight this is giving you access to. Thanks to the romantically charged lunar vibes of the last few days, this has created a mix of romance, adventure, and nostalgia that is likely to linger, and especially over the weekend. This comes just as Mars is spending his last weekend in your relationship sector, with the moon's return tomorrow a chance to become more emotionally engaged during his final days here. Our eyes in the sky. Venus and Jupiter share a minor aspect, as do the North Node of Destiny in Chiron, creating an intense, goal-oriented vibe. This aspect can stir obsessiveness around status and work, which might verge on the unhealthy due to an opposition with Venus. There is danger that your drive and dedication to accomplish certain things will blind you and throw you off balance when it comes to matters of the heart. Insecurity about failure could be magnified, and trying to calm down could be hard. Your close relationships might not be able to understand or relate to this mental state, and there's a risk that this could cause problems. You also need to keep an eye out for controlling behaviors in others as well as yourself. There is also the potential for issues with maternal figures, so try to avoid any confrontations with your mother. As we move into the afternoon, a quincunx between the North Node and healing asteroid Chiron can inspire us to talk out and work through our issues. Unfortunately, this aspect is choppy, and the disconnect we're feeling with regard to others might not heal as easily as we'd like. Mercury and Uranus share a minor connection, and that combined with the over-the-top energy from Jupiter and Venus could take us to a brink that ends either in a blow-up or an agree-to-disagree handshake. Whichever direction you choose to go, you'll be feeling a lot lighter by bedtime. In the pre-dawn hours, the moon enters Libra, ending its void of course which began last night. Over the next 2 days, we are increasingly preoccupied with achieving peace and harmony in our lives. We now realize that intentions set during the Virgo new moon are only achievable with the help of others. To this end, we seek out relationships with those who share our goals. We should simply be mindful not to adapt our objectives to appeal to social convention. It's possible to attain consensus without sacrificing our own needs. After sunup, the Libra moon aligns with Mercury, making us social. We want to be around people and exchange ideas. Conversations are pleasant but somewhat superficial. We can walk away from a dialogue feeling that we have just spent a good deal of time parroting another's opinions, or that another has done the same to us. There is nothing wrong with agreeing on points, but later in the day, we'll realize that we've talked in circles to avoid stepping on another's toes. That being said, if we are currently fighting over a difference of opinion, a consensus can now be reached.